Is he your favorite asshole?
No, you're my favorite asshole.
Huh.
And you're an even bigger one than he is.
Top 5, no debating. Top 5, top 5, top 5.
Something topical, back with another video. I'm Strange Wayne, he is Nate. Today we're doing top 5 favorite rom-coms. And a movie that's kind of a romantic comedy because the kid makes out with his mom is Back to the Future. Which coincides with our Zemeckis rule, which is what?
The Zemeckis rule just is, if we have the same movie on our list, but one of us has it 2 spots or higher, we will call out Zemeckis, which just means that we're going to wait to talk about it till we get it to the person who has it higher on their list.
My number 5 is going to be a film I just recently watched. I fell in love with it. Easily going to be my number 1 or 2 of the year. Maybe 3. Depending. The year's still young. So far, because we're filming this in 2018. But it's always be my maybe. A Netflix film about a couple of Asians who fall in love. Mm-hmm. It's very realistic. It's smart. And it taught, like, you know, it's my game plan put in film. I'm going to do something like, he has a band that make pretty good music. Soundtrack's good. But I'll make YouTube videos until that takes off. Mm-hmm. But if I have the opportunity, I'm going to marry someone who's rich and make my YouTube videos still, so I don't have to do anything but make YouTube videos. That's basically what he does in the movie. Good stuff. It's like, it's very relatable. The charm, off the charts. Great stuff. It's on Netflix. You should watch it. It came out this year.
Yeah, I probably will.
Got some Asians in it. She's a hot Asian too.
You're a fucking pig.
But number 4 is someone I don't find as attractive, but in this movie she's a fucking babe, and it is Notting Hill. Julia Roberts. I never understood American Sweetheart until I watched this movie.
Okay.
Her and Pretty Woman, like those 2 roles, are just like, you cannot dislike Julia Roberts. She's got this fucking, there's something about her in this film and Pretty Woman, which is just like, you gotta love her.
That's a fact.
Hugh Grant is amazing in this movie, and their chemistry is very good. It does have some of that 90s stuff, like Ray Fiennes. He's a very 90s character. But the story, all in all, is amazing. And he's someone who does he has a business, but he's not rich. He marries an actress, and she's rich. Smart play on Hugh Grant. It's a theme here.
My number 5 is going to be Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Very good movie, but not on my list.
Big fan. I love this movie a lot. I said this in another video. I'm not sure if it's going to get posted before or after this one, but it is very hard for movies to make me laugh out loud. My brand of comedy is not one that is often portrayed on film. And it's also not one that makes people laugh out loud a lot. It's just one that you just kind of appreciate. This movie makes me laugh a lot. I love all the moving parts of the relationships in this movie. That temptation to get back with your ex, even though you know they're not good for you, but there's just like that. It just didn't work out. So like I kind of want it in that aspect, but at the same time, like I know that I need to move forward. Yeah. And watching him go through that struggle with all the funny stuff around it is great. And my number 4 is That Awkward Moment. It was the first rom-com that I'd watched in a long time when it came out that did make me laugh as much as I laughed at that movie. It is absolutely ridiculous. This man takes a Viagra and has to like plank across a toilet to be able to pee. That's just freaking funny,
like
man.
when planking was funny.
Right.
He rocks out with his cock out.
It's true, he does. But it has a lot of heart. You know, just kind of this playboy sort of comes around at the end and realizes, man, feelings are a thing, and maybe I should act on them properly.
Makes sense.
My number 3 is going to be A Philadelphia Story. Classic rom-com.
That's my number 2.
And that's the only one I think we would have in common.
Yeah.
So, right now, 1 for 1. But my favorite actor is James Stewart.
He's
in this movie.
Yeah.
And he's amazing. Like in any movie, I will say, he's amazing.
Yeah, he is.
Grant.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan, but he's so good in this movie that I'm rooting for James Stewart. But there's times where I'm like, well, maybe I want him to get a pussy.
Right.
And the other guy, I don't even like that guy. That guy, he shouldn't get no pussy. That guy sucks toes.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
All those moving parts, this love square is amazing.
Yeah.
And just like, my favorite part about the movie is something like, so like underlining, like they like, Cary Grant and her, they break up because he like backslaps her. And it's like, now you can't put that in a movie nowadays. But they get back together and get married and everything's okay. But He slapped the fuck out of that bitch.
Yeah, he did.
So he went flying.
Yeah, definitely one of the greatest love triangles or squares or what you want to call it in movie history. But it has that wit that classic movies have that just can't. Nobody seems to be able to find it in movies these days.
I think it'll go over most audiences' heads.
It probably would.
It's an artisan film.
Yeah, the dialogue is phenomenal, and that's what really, really sells it. Put it in my number 2.
My number 2 is going to be a movie you hate, and it is Don John.
No, you're right. I do hate that movie.
I love this movie. It's relatable on how men are, the masculinity thing, how they're supposed to think.
Definitely not all of us.
It plays on that. And just like, dude has a game plan, man. You learn a very valuable life lesson in this. You fuck the tens, like the Scarlett Johanssons of the world. You have sex with them, dirty, nasty sex with them. But when you get a little older and you're ready to settle down, you get yourself a MILF who has riches and home, land, cars, and inside the soul. And that's an important lesson for you all. That's what Strange Wayne, that's my plan. Like, I got like 4 girlfriends right now, but I'm not going to like seriously date any of them until I find a MILF. That MILF with a camel toe that was at work the other day, I might look her up on the Googles. But yeah, it's my number 2.
Movie's garbage. My number 3 is going to be an absolute classic, and is Groundhog Day. Bill Murray is great. He plays such a good asshole. He really does.
Yeah.
And he just makes me laugh.
Is he your favorite asshole?
No, you're my favorite asshole.
Oh.
And you're an even bigger one than he is. This movie is hilarious. It takes a great concept of this having to wake up and do the same thing over and over every day. It has such a dark tone to it, especially towards the end when after he's been stuck in this loop for however he's been stuck in it. But the fact that he ultimately comes around, like he starts using every single day just to learn a little bit more about this one girl. You know, so the romantic element definitely pops towards the end. You don't think it's going to be there at all in the beginning because it's like, how could anyone possibly want to be with this guy? But he comes around, he learns from it, and it ends up working out really, really great.
My numero uno is going to be one of my favorite films of all time. Top 5 favorite films of all time to be exact. But it's my number 1 on this list, and it is When Harry Met Sally. Harry Burns, played by Billy Crystal, is such a great character for males to relate to, I feel like.
Okay. Mindset
wise, how they go throughout life, their feelings and why they feel certain ways. You know, most guys get relationship the one relationship goes bad and it's rocky for the rest of their relationships with women until they find one they can feel comfortable with to talk to and be themselves with, you know? So, and that is Sally. Hence the title. And Sally, she's fucking great too. She'd be like faking orgasms in like restaurants and stuff. But like she's someone that I want to sit down and I want to talk to her.
Yeah,
you know?
Cool.
Like not even about sexual stuff, just like I want to get to know her. That seems like a very fun person to know. Mm-hmm. And like Bruno Curry's in this, Carrie Fisher, they're great side characters. They're great friends.
Yeah.
Like the cast is good. The storytelling is amazing. This is like probably my favorite. Mm-hmm. And like I've seen Tarantino movies and Anderson films. I would go out on a limb right now and say this is probably my favorite script of all time. Wow. How they do the dialogue, what they're doing while doing the dialogue, and stuff is amazing. I know so much about this film, and like I can see it when it happens on screen, and it's just it makes the movie more enjoyable for me as a viewer because of that, being such a big fan and knowing like this is ad-libbed, you know, she doesn't know what's happening and stuff like that. So storytelling, acting, dialogue, all 10s in my book. If you haven't seen this and you're a fan of rom-coms, you need to go out and see it now. Because Strange Wayne, like it or not, you know, I love rom-coms. But this is the rom-com. The greatest rom-com of all time, in my opinion. Sure. What's your number one?
So my number 1 is another absolute classic. Has some musical elements, but to me it really is an absolute rom-com. And it's going to be Singing in the Rain. This movie is hilarious. Great story about silent film stars making the switch to talkies, if you will.
And a fun fact for the viewers out there, we also keep our microphone hidden in a plant too.
Yeah, it's true. And it blends in perfectly with the green screen. It's actually right here. No, it's not. But this movie is really, really funny. It starts off with him sort of in this kind of forced Hollywood relationship. Their publicists make they're this like famous acting duo, and their publicists basically make them pretend that they're together, but he can't stand the girl. And her voice is terrible, so I understand. He ends up meeting this like a theater actress, but like not really getting anywhere in life, and you know, they fall for each other. She ends up doing voiceovers for the girl with the terrible voice. She gets her comeuppance at the end. They end up together, and it's so funny in between. This film is so underrated to me because the singing in the rain scene is so overrated. That's what you see from that scene so much. And I get it. He's happy. He's in love. But like, that is not what that movie is all about. Go watch it if you think that the only thing that movie is about is him literally singing in the rain, because there's so much more substance and like comedy to it. It's really like it absolutely earns its place in film history, which is where it's at. I just think it's there for the wrong reasons.
Well, there you have it. You have a list of 10 rom-coms. Well, actually 9, because we have one in common, from an Italian guy and a white guy. So take that as you will. But we love
Italian.
Only on my good side. Take that as you will. We love rom-coms. Tell us what your favorite rom-com is down in the comment section below. While you're on this page, like, comment, and subscribe.